As you know, the third season of Street Fighter 6 is rapidly approaching. Elena is gonna come out soon, and with it we're gonna start season 3. And I know this is not a totally original video idea, others have made theirs as well, but I still wanted to give you guys my take on how Mura would change Street Fighter 6 going forward. The word around the street is that Elena doesn't have a throw loop. Obviously early could be character specific, but I'm going into this with the assumption that throw loops are gone. And if it was me, if Mura was in charge of the balancing of Street Fighter 6, I would take away crouching medium kick, drive rush, crouching jab being a true block string, because this is the forced way to force a mix-up in this game. I would make it so that there is always a gap, and yes, this will make characters who have ODDP a lot better, but even if you don't, you are still able to perfect parry that jab, and characters will still have way to force mix-ups, like Luke would do like crouching medium, drive rush into crouching jab, but at least you can back walk out of the crouching medium punch and not get punished. I feel like crouching medium kick, drive rush is the devil when it comes to Street Fighter 6. And with my changes, I'm gonna keep it to 2 changes only per character. Some I do think require a lot more, and I wanna focus on character uniqueness, what makes each character stand out, much less overall system homogeneity, like everyone being homogeneous and playing the same. I want to focus on unique character strengths, what makes each character stand out. And with that, we're gonna start first with Ryu. And I feel like Ryu, as the season went on, we will have realized more and more what Mura been telling you for a lot, that Ryu is pretty good. So the first change I would make for Ryu is to his solar plexus. It's a nerf, but I feel like it's for the health of the game. Believe me, trust me bro. As it stands right now, solar plexus is forward moving, it's +3 on block, it looks down far too much, it's mid, and it does have good range. If Ryu happened to land the hit confirm window is gigantic, and he can follow and get huge damage. So the way I would change this is to simply make it +1, so that the following frame trap, the following position isn't as oppressive. I feel like that's fair. I feel like solar plexus at stand right now is a very annoying mini game. Now I want to focus on Ryu's unique strengths, so I would look at his fireballs. And I think Ryu's fireballs should be on par with Akuma. I would adjust the frame data so that it is on par with Akuma. And I feel like the Denjin fireball could use some work as well, because right now it doesn't feel really that threatening. Once he got Denjin, you're pretty much worried about the confirm into OD Hashogeki, but not really the fireball. So maybe make it more plus, so that it allow him to dominate the fireball wars. Next up, we got Luke, and one of the coolest things about Luke in Street Fighter 5 was his V skill 1, which would let him combo into the charged flash knuckles without really having to charge. And I also thought that was really cool. That gave him a lot of unique combo routes. Imagine, for example, in Street Fighter 6, crouching medium kick into the light punch, perfect. That would be really cool. So I would give him this move back. I know it's a drastic change, but I think that could make the character a lot more fun. The move is unsafe anyways. And speaking of crouching medium kick, one of the unique things about Luke in this game is he's pretty much the only character with a hit confirmable cancelable crouching medium kick, because he can hit confirm it into the target combo. The issue is this only leaves him at a +2, so he can't back walk out of the opponent's throw range. Typically he will get thrown, so the shimmy mix-up is weak, and he can't frame trap into crouching medium punch. So I will make this a little bit more plus, maybe at a +3, so that he's able to back walk out of range for the shimmy and get a more potent frame trap. I feel like this is pretty much, this could work on making Luke stand out a little bit. Next up, we got the Masterpiece Kin Masters. If we nerfed throw loop and if crouching medium kick DR is no longer that oppressive, I feel like that is enough to tone down Kin in general, but his standing heavy punch absolutely needs to be looked at. I think this move needs to have additional hurt box on whiff, so that it's a little bit easier to whiff punish, and I also think heavy punch into medium kick Jinrai doesn't need to be a block string. I would add a gap there so that as an opponent can go for a perfect parry, can go for an invincible reversal. Obviously this sending heavy punch by itself is still safe, but that sequence is just too strong in my opinion. The other change I would make is for the OD Dragon Lash. OD Dragon Lash for Ken is a move that's not really used that much. I will make the move force a crouching state and make it +4 on hit. That way Ken is able to get some fancy new combos, work on his corner carry, and just have some fun with it. It's a move that you very rarely see Ken players use, and I feel like this could be like a really fun change. Next up, we got Chun-Li, the #1 Shunner. And Chun-Li, I feel like is a character that got lost in the shuffle a little bit. So Chun-Li should be the footsie's queen, and my plan is to work on that. I will bring back her forward medium punch to be hit confirmable once again. I feel like she needs it. It was one thing that was unique about her, maybe limited so that you're only getting like drive rush jabs, but as a conversion need to come back, or even just like a hit confirm into EX legs, something to make this normal stand out once again. And another thing that was really fun about Chun-Li was OD legs or EX legs. It was a tremendous whiff punish and block punish tool in Street Fighter V, and I want to bring it back. In this game, it's 8 frame startup, you can whiff punish with it and get like a combo follow-up, but at 8 frames and with its range, that is not really that great. So I would focus on making it a little bit faster, maybe 6 frames, so that if you happen to whiff punish with it, gets a punish counter, you're getting some decent follow-up, could be really fun. So make Chun-Li the footsie's queen again. Now enter DeeJay, and DeeJay was once one of the best characters in the game, but I feel like with DeeJay we want to focus a little bit on his mobility. As you know, his sway is a big part, and OD sway is also a big part of his combos. The thing about OD sway is that he's always doing like the initial launcher part. I would add like another version of sway without it. It's just like the backward movement, and make it so that crouching medium punch into the launcher-less OD sway into the low combos on a punish counter. That way, if he happened to whiff punish you with a crouching medium punch and hits into that, it will be +6, so he's getting follow-up. I feel like that could be really fun and bring some really fun combos to him. I feel like that's something that he needs. The other thing would be kind of like a bug. I don't know why this happens, but there is like this weirdness with DeeJay right now where if you say do a drive impact and then combo a heavy punch into medium punch machine gun upper, it does more damage than if you do the heavy punch into the heavy version. So maybe buff the damage on the heavy version a little bit so that it goes back into doing more damage. This is a route that you will very rarely use anyway, but I feel like that kind of would make sense. So next up we got Mai, and I feel like Mai is kind of like a public menace right now. I don't personally think she's like top 2, top 3, but she's certainly very easy to play and very efficient. And the main reason is the OD bouncing fireballs. And if we compare this to the SNK games, let's say King of Fighters 15, the move is there. But the thing about King of Fighters is that EX moves are really expensive there. So this is like something that requires a lot of commitment. It's still as powerful, but it's expensive. In comparison with Street Fighter 6, 2 bars is nothing, you start moving immediately, you're getting bar back. So I feel like the best way to balance this instead of taking out the ability is to simply make it more expensive. So what I would do is make the bouncing fireball a 3 bars EX move. Now if you just do the input, you will do the double hitting one, you kind of have to hold it a little bit or give it like a different input so that you're getting the bouncing fans. I feel like this to me makes sense. Obviously if you got the fire stock, you're getting the bouncing fan with just 2 bars. I feel like that would be a good way of balancing it. Keep the ability there, make it a little bit more expensive so that it requires a little bit more thought and you can't just spam it without going into burnout. The other change I would make to Mai is to her back heavy kick. This is a really interesting target combo. Unfortunately, it does have very limited utility because you only use it in the corner for juggle and combos. So I would make it work mid-screen so that, say you got a combo into a drive rush, crouching medium punch, back heavy kick, and you're getting the super, you're getting the flame stock. I want Mai to be more about the fire stock system because that's more interesting. Manon is next, and Manon is kind of in a weird spot because we want to focus on her medals, right? But the head grab, I feel like it's kind of lacking. The thing about the head grab is once you land it, you're gonna be +15. And unfortunately, this means that your follow-ups are very limited because you can't drive rush and feint and try to bait a reversal. You're almost always gonna fall for a wake up reversal DP. So I feel like maybe give her a little bit more advantage similar to her command grab, even if you increase the distance a little bit so that there is a better mind game there and there is kind of like a better situation. I feel like that would work really well in making Manon more encouraged to go into her medal levels because currently sometimes you will not want to go there. The other thing is to buff her crouching medium punch. I think this one should be 6 frames. There is no reason that it's not. Manon should get a jab into medium confirm, at least like on a counter hit. That would buff her defense tremendously. I think with the removal of throw loop, she will be better anyways, but I feel like that can go a long way in making her a lot more viable. Hey there, hope you're enjoying the video. If you're liking the video so far but you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I mean, we got an amazing team going up, showing the Mura's EX Men. We even got like the Emma and Magneto combo, so you know we're gonna dominate. Excuse the silliness and enjoy the rest of the video. Next up, we got JP, the Terror, and if throw loops no longer exist, and if you can't force a mix-up from crouching medium kick DR, that already buffs JB tremendously. So with that being said, I do think he does need to be brought down a little bit. So I would make it so that Amnesia no longer beat grabs. He would actually get thrown out of Amnesia, work like any other counter in the history of mankind. And I would make it so that it's a little bit easier to whiff punish his standing heavy punch, because unless you have a really long range low, I feel like it's still a little bit difficult. Next up, we got Terry, and Terry I feel like is a character that is overall in a pretty good spot. He's really powerful but balanced, but I want to focus on his unique strengths, like I said, and the most unique thing about Terry is his passing sway target combo. And unfortunately, I do think the balancing risk reward on this move is kind of whack. If you do the forward hitting follow-up, this one is good. It leaves you at a +4 on hit, so you're getting combos, and if it happened to get blocked, you're still +3 on block. You're not in throw range, but you can force mix-ups. The issue is with the backward hitting option. The backward hitting option leaves you at only +3, so Terry is not getting any sort of conversion there, and it's negative if the opponent happened to block. Remember, this is a game where the opponent have a parry anyways, so left-right doesn't really matter that much. And if you happen to go for the bait, if you happen to go to the other side but not hit, you're minus double digit. So I feel like the backward option should be +4 on hit and +2 on block. It should be like a legitimate mix-up, and it's not even gonna be that tough of a mix, because like I said, there is parry in the game anyway, but I feel like that could balance out the risk-reward a little bit. The other change to Terry is to simply fix his quick burn, because his quick burn should be his frame trap tool, but if the opponent happen to block 3 lights and do a slower normal, they will hit you, because the first hit doesn't travel forward that much, so extend the hitbox on the first hit so that it's stronger, and it just works as a frame trap tool, because currently you have to use the EX, which is kind of stupid. Cammy is up next, and I'm gonna be upfront. I think Cammy's level 3 as it stands right now is actually kind of insane. Cammy's level 3 is full screen, and if she happened to hit at any point, she transitions into the animation. This makes it so that Cammy's level 3 is pretty much a checkmate, especially against projectiles full screen. And there's no other character with anything remotely similar or close in the game. And remember, level 3s do massive damage, that's like 4k, and you're getting drive gauge and you're losing drive gauge, so that is very, very powerful. Like a similar character like M.Bison, his level 3 doesn't travel nearly as far, Ed doesn't travel nearly as far. The fact that she travels that much and transitions into animation make it very powerful. So I would shorten the range, or make it so that there's like a non-cinematic hit, but I don't think a full screen checkmate is that good, to be honest. The second change I would make is to her special mechanic. As you know, Cammy has a special mechanic in this game where she can charge her heavy versions of the specials and they turn into the EX versions. And unless you're doing heavy punch into the charged uppercut for the level 3 cancel or the stun combo with the charged hooligan, this is rarely used. So I would buff this a little bit. I would add more combo route, make it so that heavy punch into heavy spiral arrows, the charged version actually works. That could be really fun. Maybe increase the juggles a little bit. I feel like there's a lot that you can do there that can be a lot of fun. Ed is up next, a character that was at one point one of the best characters in the game, and one thing I will change about Ed is make it so that if you do the initial part of his regular fireball, you can use the OD follow-up and get the second barter as an OD fireball. As this was something that he was able to do in Street Fighter V and they took it away, and I feel like this would make his pressure game a lot more dynamic. It would make his fireball game a lot more dynamic as well, make it a lot more interesting, and would be something that just really fun to play with. I feel like this was one of the more fun aspects for Ed in the previous game. And now that the game have less throw loops, less pressure in general, I think his flicker need to be looked at, especially like the pull distance. Currently it pulls you towards him, you're very close, you're in throw range +4. I feel like with the direction I'm going, this will be a little bit too much, so I will make it so that there's a little bit more separation. Once Ed pulls you in, he's a little bit at a further distance. Otherwise, I think Ed would be totally fine. He will probably be one of the best characters in the game if they remove throw loops and crouching medium kick DR. Honda is up next, and I'm gonna be upfront. Honda's current design is atrocious. Absolutely one of the worst, dumbest designs known to mankind. Whoever thought about making headbutts completely safe because perfect parry exists and turn the entire character into perfect parry simulator? That just stinks. Bring back headbutts to being -4, -7, -10, make him punchable. No more of this dumb nonsense. But his hands need to be absolutely looked at, because currently hands are always negative, -4 at best. We're talking like -8 for like the heavy versions, and this move was traditionally like his bread and butter. So I would bring this back, and I would do it in two ways. The first one is I would make it so that his braid to the gods, his buff actually stacks. There's even like 2 animations for it. I feel like it was already a stackable ability, but then they took it away, and I would make it so that if he does get the buff, once he's doing the hand, even on block he can do the extra slap at the end, and that would make it actually plus on block. I feel like Honda's hand need to come back. It needs to be plus on block, and he needs to have a choice if he's willing to spend or not. So bring back the ability, bring it back to being able to be done consciously on choice and on block. Alright, next we got Akuma, and Akuma is obviously one of the strongest, if not the strongest character in the game. And I would just add a little bit of hurtbox to his demon flip, because currently he doesn't have none. Demon flip is very good, but I would buff EX demon flip so that there is a hitbox on the initial part of it, right? When he's going up, the ascend, because that was really fun in Street Fighter V. One of the things about Akuma in this game is that I do think his corner carry compared to many of the other characters isn't that crazy. So this could be like a buff to him. You do like Kicktatsu into the EX demon flip. This is kind of like a Street Fighter V combo. I feel like that was really fun. I would bring it back. And I would also take a look at EX Adamant Flame, or like OD Adamant Flame, because this move at stand right now does way too much damage. It does like 1200 damage for a launcher move. That's actually crazy. If you compare it to like a Luke EX Flash Knuckle, that does 800, so it does like 450 more damage, and he gets like follow-up combos that are even stronger than Luke's. So I would reduce the damage of that, maybe bring it back to 1k, so that the overall combo is doing less damage. There is already scaling in there for this one, and it is safe on block, so it needs to be at least like -4, -5, so that it is punchable. Kimberly is up next, a character that is doing really well right now, and I would look at her stock, at her cans mechanic, because I feel like this is something that it's weird. I would make it so that she's able to reload even if she have one stock. I don't understand this. Why can't she reload if she have like one can left? And if you have a can already out, why can't she reload? That feel like really dumb. I would like to see like the double hitting can thing be a little bit more useful. I feel like that could be a lot of fun. But I also would take a look at her standing heavy punch, because I do think this move needs to be looked at right now. The move do have an issue now where it will frame trap if she does the run, and this is just so dull. This does a lot of chip damage to your opponent drive, and they can't mash, and it's pretty much like free chip, free damage pretty much, and they can't even like drive reversal it on block, because Kimberly can stop and just punishes him. It feels like a mix-up that is not earned in any way. She's one of the fastest characters in the game, and you give her like a cancelable heavy normal with decent startup. It feels like a completely unearned mix-up and just a really annoying mini game to consistently play. So I would remove that. I would increase the gap or like decrease the cancel to run so that you can challenge this gap like you used to. Next we got Lord Bison, and with Bison I think it's really simple. I would take a look at his OD Psycho Crusher with bombs. This thing needs to be scaled, it's still doing way too much damage. Bison damage overall is still kind of insane. He doesn't need to do 6k easy once he lands like an OD Psycho Crusher, especially with a bomb. And I would make the non-bomb version -4 on block. This move is an anti-fireball, it's an anti-air, it's very fast for the range it covers. It doesn't need to be safe. It really doesn't need to be safe, so I would make it -4. But to compensate, I would make it so that M.Bison gonna have his manual bomb detonation back from Street Fighter V. Currently as it stands in this game, to detonate the bomb, you either have to go for a back fist, a Psycho Crusher, or like a knee brace, whatever, a special move, or you just wait for the timer, and I think that is really lame. I really liked the fact that in Street Fighter V he could manually detonate it. That opens the door to a lot of strategies, and I feel like this could be really fun, so I would bring it back. Is up next, a character that's definitely on the weaker side, and with Marisa, she had the ability to absorb drive impacts with her parry and then get like punishes, but they took that away. So what I would do is add a cancel window here between the parry hitting and the command grab, so that you can cancel that hit into the command grab, so you're getting guaranteed follow-ups. I feel like that would help her a lot. Maybe they don't want her to get full combos, but at least get like command grab damage. I feel like that could help her a lot, help her defense. I think the lack of throw loops and crouching medium kick DR being a thing would tremendously buff Marisa anyway, and we kind of established that we're nerfing Bison damage, so I feel like that would be really good for her. The second thing is I would improve her walk speed. Marisa already got some very devastating whiff punishes, but her walk speed makes it a little bit difficult to do that, so with a little bit of a walk speed buff, I feel like she would be in a much better place. Guile is up next, and with Guile I wanna focus on the boom into drive rush mix-up minigame that is just this character. He's like a consistent minigame that is really annoying to play against. So I would change this in two ways. For starter, Bazooka Knee need to have more pushback on block. Him being able to throw a fireball, drive rush, Bazooka Knee, be point blank to throw you, I feel like that is way too toxic. That is way too toxic of a strategy, right? And I would make his overhead -5 on block. He already have a drive rush crouching medium kick that is -1. The overhead unfortunately is still plus, so I feel like that could be taken away, right? Guile doesn't need to be able to do a mix-up anytime, any place, anywhere, and be plus on block. I feel like that's kind of ridiculous. But to compensate, I feel like we need to take a look at his crouching heavy punch, because as it stands right now, it's an anti-air that trades all the time, and yeah, I feel like this one needs to have like a better hitbox so that it's stronger as an anti-air. Blanka is up next, and I would lean into the Blanka Shan stuff a little bit. Unfortunately right now it's only doing the heavy punch into the launcher, stance launcher thing, and it's like just one mix-up that is always used all the time. So I want to give him another way to set up the toy so that there's more flexibility with it. Maybe like a new target combo with a Blanka Shan Ender, maybe a cancel from his EX electricity or something just to spice it up and give him a little bit more options. Now, just as we buffed Guile, I think his up balls need to be looked at. It's a charge move that doesn't have that great of a time as an anti-air. It will lose a lot because invincibility doesn't start right away. So this is something that I would work on, make it so that it just acts like a flash kick. I feel like he really needs that. Alright, now it's time for Zangief, and I'm gonna be honest, probably gonna piss off some of the Zangief players, but I think his standing heavy punch right now is not okay. I don't think a one button should be able to be used that reactively against fireballs, because right now, if you're in the mid-range, you can't throw fireballs against Zangief. Like Zangief of all character, you can't throw fireballs against him, and I think that's kind of ridiculous. So I would slow down the startup on the armor a little bit. Right? Maybe make it at like frame 6, frame 7, so that it's a little bit more preemptive from Zangief and not as easily reactionary as it is right now. Maybe then add like spin state so that the follow-up that he gets is better, but yeah, I'm not a fan of how his heavy punch beats fireballs right now. And I would take a look at his standing light kick into Lariat or OD Lariat, so that this string is more consistent, and maybe add like a boolean effect on the standing light kick. I feel like this could buff his wave punishes a little bit. With the removal of throw loops, Zangief is buffed tremendously as it is, so I don't think he should dominate the mid-range as freely as he does now. That's just my opinion. Aki is up next, and one of the things about Aki, one of her unique strengths, is that she has a fireball into the OD slide. But that is very rarely used. Most of the times Aki players will use Fireball and then Drive Rush behind it, because Drive Rush gives the buttons the extra advantage and the speed of the Drive Rush is really good. So I would buff the slide, make the slide a little bit faster so that there is more incentive to use it. Right, it is safer and there is more incentive to use it. I feel like that could go a long way in spicing up Aki a little bit. Another thing about her that I do think need to be looked at is her crouching medium kick, because this move is a combo starter and there is no additional scaling on it. It can lead to a lot of damage, so maybe increase the scaling on crouching medium kick starters a little bit. Jamie is up next, and I would kind of rework Jamie's drink system. I think it needs to be a little bit more dynamic. Go in, go out. I would add a drink DK so that he can lose levels, but also make it easier for him to level up. I think kind of like G's presidentiality system, I feel like that was a lot more dynamic and ultimately a lot more fun. So I would add an EX drink that initially boost him like 2 drink levels after his EX Rekka follow-up. I feel like that makes sense. Currently, the only reason you want to use that is because it puts him at a plus advantage. However, because if you end it with the regular meterless drink follow-up from his Rekka, he's -1. That makes no sense. So his meterless version, that should be +2, and the EX version should give him 2 drinks. However, I feel like with each round, maybe he could lose a drink or 2. Maybe if he gets knocked down, I feel like there need to be like a drink DK system so that the character is a little bit more dynamic. I don't think he should start from scratch every single time. Just something to spice him up a little bit. Lily is up next, and I do think Lily need to lose OD Counterspire. This character in her entirety is balanced around how strong Wind OD Counterspire is, because the move is really fast, 9 frame, beats projectile, beats drive impact, blossom block. So I would make it so that it's only blossom block if it's spaced. If it's not spaced well, you're not gonna be plus anymore. Maybe -1, maybe 0. That way, we can free up parts of her kit. I would make it so that she's able to combo into Light Spire without charge. I would make it so that her OD Wind grants her like 2 wind stocks. I would buff the character in many other ways by nerfing OD Counterspire a bit. She doesn't need to be so centralized around this very specific mechanic, and I feel like that could free her up to do a lot more with the character. Rashid is up next, and the first one is easy. If you hit him out of his level 2 super, it's just gone. There's no reason for him to be able to have it out there. It's way too impressive as it is right now, so I feel like that is the first change. One of the unique things about him is how his moves change with the wind, and that happens to the special moves that happen to the regular normals as well, and I would work on that a little bit. Currently as it stands, his normals will gain more distance, but they don't get more advantage, hit advantage or whatever, so I want to make it easier for him to use that. So if he's doing, for example, the heavy fireball and he charges it, there's a little bit of wind and he's doing like the forward heavy kick, now this will get like a drive rush property. So Rashid would be the character that's able to have like drive rush normals without drive rushing. Obviously there is the element of that being predictable. The game does have parries, you can like neutral jump and punish him, but I feel like with some setups, with some situations, this could be really interesting and a really fun, unique mechanic to Rashid that I feel like there's something there that could be looked at. Juri is up next, and for Juri, I want her to have more control over her stock system, so that once you have stocks, if you're doing any of the Fuha, the forward quarter circle forward kick follow-ups, you can choose whether you want to spend the stock or not. I feel like that can go a very long way in opening her up a little bit, giving her more agency on her resources. I feel like that could be like a really fun change, could open up a lot of routes and ways to play this character. Give her some individual individuality, I feel like. I would also would take a look at her throw. Her forward throw corner carries way too much, and I feel like maybe a little bit less range on that and a little bit less advantage. Not range, well, less pushback on hit could be really good. The final character is Dhalsim, and for Dhalsim have a unique mechanic right now, where with his level 1 super, it will deal recoverable white chip. That is if he does it on block. And I feel like this is something we need to look at. Maybe this could be the thing about Dhalsim. So I would make it so that his Yoga Blast and his level 1 super, if you happen to land them on hit or block, they will deal a little bit of white chip damage. And this could be really interesting because once you get hit by them, you want to play a little bit defensive, because then if Dhalsim hits you, the next hit will deal a little bit extra damage. I feel like that could add like a really fun dynamic to the character. Another thing I would do is to his back medium kick. This move need to become a 6-frame startup because this will give Dhalsim more ways to punish drive reversals, because at stand right now, he's not really getting good punishes on that, and it's really hurting his overall damage. And that's about it. I know that there is a lot of changes here, there is a lot that's proposed. Maybe some of them are really out there. I doubt Capcom is gonna implement any of that, but this is how I would change the game. I would love to hear your thoughts about all of this in the comment section below. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter, and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe.